But weren't you afraid that maybe people would say, well, she's beautiful, but because sometimes when people are beautiful, then they don't get, well, they aren't taken seriously on serious subjects. So wasn't it for you?
Yeah, it's a gamble as well, because a lot of times people don't know about the various pageants that exist, so they automatically assume that if you're beautiful, that you have no brains, which is completely ludicrous, because really this is just a shell on the outside of what's really inside. So it doesn't make a difference if you're unattractive or you're attractive. I mean, it bears no weight on what's inside. So they're not mutually exclusive things. And so, I mean, if I can also prove that, that you can be beautiful and intelligent and talented and in many other things, then hopefully I can break some stereotypes as well.
But was your ego involved also? I can imagine, because when you enter a Miss World competition, you would like to win. It's some sort of, well, you think, oh, I would like to be the number one, I would like to be the most beautiful. Or was it just for you mainly a platform?
Mainly a platform. I mean, again, like Miss World is not necessarily about finding the most beautiful person on the planet. They're trying to find an ambassador to represent their organization, which is to raise money for children's charities. That's why they exist. There's other pageants that are purely for modeling or swimsuits or whatever. But this one, most of the girls that I was in competition with, they were regular university students who wanted to make a difference in their communities. So I'm glad I was in it.
Well then, now we have to, in your CD, someday, in the booklet you have, you thank certain role models. I knew every role model except one. Katherine
Hamlin?
Hamlin, yeah. How come?
Dr. Katherine Hamlin is probably one of the most fascinating people I've ever met in my life. I met her when I went to Ethiopia. She runs a hospital called the Addis Ababa Fistula Hospital, and she's basically started this fistula hospital 45 years ago. So she used to live in Australia. She moved to Ethiopia, and instead of like having a regular life with a good medical practice back home, she decided to like devote her life to these young girls, and it's incredible what she does. These young women in Ethiopia, they're expected to have babies at a very young age. And some of these girls are 12, 13, 14 years old, and their bodies aren't properly formed to have babies yet at such a young age. So when they try to give birth, the head of the baby presses against the inside of their vaginal wall, and it stops the blood flow, and that then creates a hole, which is called the fistula. And so these young girls lose their babies, and then they become incontinent, so they're constantly leaking. And because they smell quite bad, their husbands leave them, their families can't really take care of them, they sometimes stay in bed all day, so they get atrophy of the legs, and it's such a harsh life for these young girls, losing their husbands, their babies, their families. They're excommunicated, like they have no hope. But Dr. Katherine Hamlin, through this hospital, she has medical doctors who perform a simple operation, takes 15 minutes. The girls have to stay there for a couple of weeks to recover, but once these girls are fixed, they're sent back to their families with a new dress to symbolize their new life, and they're able to once again have babies and to have a regular life. So to me, she's like a hero in our time, and she's this beautiful older lady who has so much patience. When she sits down with you and explains everything, it's as if she's telling you for the first time what's happening with these girls. And I got the fortune of meeting some of these girls in the hospital. Sometimes they were sharing like two girls in one bed because there's not enough beds to house all of them. And these girls have the most brilliant smiles, despite the hardships they've gone through. Like they're still able to like radiate such beauty and strength that I learned so much from both Katherine Hamlin and her patients.
Katherine Hamlin.
Yeah, that was Katherine Hamlin for you.
Hamlin, yeah.